Hi, I'm Nicole Roberts-Jones, and welcome to The Fierce Files. Now, what I know for sure is that one of life's greatest gifts will meet you when you go after your more. And so here is why I share with you thought-provoking insight and behind-the-curtain conversations with women who have reached the pinnacle of success because they went after their more. Now, I really want you to get this. One idea from these episodes can make a remarkable difference, not just in your career, but in your life. And I want to make sure you join the conversation in our Facebook group. So go to findyourfiercemovement.com. Now grab your pen and get ready for today's session of The Fierce Files. We are replaying some of our favorite episodes from season 1. So take a listen to this episode and then mark your calendars to join us for season 2 on January 9th. All right, and welcome to today's episode of The Fierce Files. Today, I want to introduce to you Miss Sybil Amuti. Now, Sybil is an executive brand strategist. She's a podcast producer. She's a philanthropist, a coach, a wife, and a mother. So for over 15 years, Sybil has delivered world-class strategy and brand direction to some of the brands that you have heard of, both personal, corporate, philanthropic, right? People such as Scholastic, Nike, Sony, Target, Tony Robbins, Usher, Taylor Swift, and I could go on and on. The list goes on, right? But in addition to her brand management and infrastructure development expertise, she is also an executive producer. And really the thing that I love the most about Sybil is her work around The Great Girlfriends. Now, The Great Girlfriends is both a podcast and an annual event that she does with her partner, Brandis. And what they have done is created a place that women can connect. They give daily tips, solutions for living a passionate everyday life and building a thriving business. And of course, you know, her bio is way longer than that, but welcome, Miss Sybil.
Oh my goodness, Nicole. Thank you for having me.
I'm so excited.
You just made my day, girl.
Girl, wait. So I was telling Sybil that, you know, she and Brandis, so she has her own podcast called The Great Girlfriends. And I was a guest maybe 3 months ago. It feels like it was yesterday. Yeah. But being on their podcast inspired me like, oh my God, this was so much fun. I want to do this too. So I just want to thank you. You're part of the reason why I'm here. So thank you for what you do in the world.
So, I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. We had so much fun with you.
Well, you know, the thing that I really admire about you is that you don't leave anything behind, right? So I see you on Instagram taking your daughter to dance class. I see you with your husband. I see you giving back. I see you doing all these great things in the world. So tell us, you know, Sybil, because you could have said yes to one of those and one of those would be enough, right? But yet it's still, there's always more for you to do. So tell us a little bit about that defining moment for you and really how you have said yes to everything and be able to do it all successfully.
Oh, Nicole. Oh my God, that's such a robust question, but it's so true when you, I mean, it is, it's a huge question and there's a huge answer. But when I think about it now, I think about how I lived before I said yes, before I accepted that there were many facets to my life. And I think about how I was living in one vertical and I felt like I was on the inside while everybody was playing outside, right? So I'm peeking through the blinds and people are living a full life and I see things that are going on that I wanted to be a part of, but I was so afraid of letting go of what I had gained from the titles that I had developed over time. And so what happened to me was it was a hugely defining moment that were taking place. It was a sequence of things. I started to have children. And as I started to have children, I just felt like my boundaries were being stretched. I wasn't a mother and I became a mother. And that opened me up to new people and new interests and new desires for my life. And I started to become very passionate about what my children would come to know about me. What would they come to know about me as a woman? How would I teach them how to live fully? How can I tell my son, take the leap off the swing, and if I'm swinging on the swing and can't ever get off, you know?
Okay, right.
What kind of example would I display? And I started to become more passionate about my legacy. The more I started to work with a lot of high-profile celebrity brands, I recognized that I was helping everyone else tell their full story. You know, people were making pivots in their careers. They would decide, okay, I'm a musician, but there's more to me, or I'm this, but I want more. I'm not finished with my story. I want to launch a book. There's more to my story. And I was only telling one part of my story. And so
I got to stop you right there, just because what she just said was somebody's tweetable moment. She was only living one part of her story. And I'm saying that because what I know for sure is many of you that are listening, you're only living one part of your story. So if you don't
That's
get
right.
anything else, and I know Sybil's about to drop some more knowledge, but if you don't get anything else out of this, I hope that was an aha moment for you, that it's time for you to live into more than one part of your story. Sorry, I just had to stop there because that was good. So go ahead. So you're a Christian. Yay.
That's
go ahead.
Right. Yeah. So, yeah. And with my faith being the foundation, I have these conversations with God. And God speaks, he speaks, and then we shelf it. We say, thank you, Lord, and we put it on the shelf for later, put it in a journal, close it.
Right.
But, this is what we do. And then we go back Sunday, and then we refuel, and, we shelf it. But for me, I was going deeper and deeper and deeper. And I kept in these conversations, God kept telling me, and this is for me, and this is for every single woman that is listening to know, he said that you're a jewel. And that jewel kept sticking with me because I never thought of myself as a jewel. I understand jewels, but I never thought of myself as a jewel. So I thought, okay, let me look this up. What does a jewel mean?
We're taking a quick commercial break so I can share an important message just for you. Now, at the end of every year, I sit in quiet reflection. I sit and pray and ask God, what is our theme, our focus for the next year? And so this time last year, the word that came to me for 2018 was elevate. And I've seen elevation happen not just for us here in Fierce Factor Lab. I've seen it happen in the lives of so many of the women that we get to work with. People like Janice Love. See, when Janice came to us in the last year, she had maybe 10 ideal clients as members of her tribe. Well, within 1 year, she has elevated that to 300%. And then there's Stephanie Michelle. See, when Stephanie and I first started working together in the last year, she had less than $2,000 in her business bank account. Well, within a year, her income in her business has grown over 500%. And I'm excited because they've gotten a visibility plan and a revenue strategy, and they're both showing up differently, and they fully stepped into their fears. And of course, these are just two examples of clients that I've had the pleasure of working with and witnessing their elevation. I can go on, but I have to tell you that I am beyond excited, not just about this, but because God whispered in my ear early about our focus for next year. He gave me a mission, our mission for 2019. And you want to know what it is? See, the word God gave me for 2019 is multiply. Now listen, we are in the last few weeks of 2018, and I know you've been thinking a lot about next year. So can I encourage you? See, next year is your year to start to multiply, to generate multiple streams of revenue from your brilliance and give the world more of you. Now the question is, are you ready to make this happen? Because if you're already successful and yet you're letting fear, uncertainty, or overwhelm pull you back, let me tell you that is so 2018. See, what that means is you're teetering right on the edge of your next level. So you're on the edge of fully coming into your calling, your gift, and your greatness. And what I know for sure is that it's time for you to lean all the way in. See, either way, I'm going to push you right on over to the abundance that is waiting for you, because I know the greatness that exists on the other side, and I call it Multiply 2019. So I'm going to invite you to join me for my no-cost online training. Go to letsmultiply2019.com. So I'm inviting you to join me because I'm going to walk you through the 3 steps you need to implement now, only if you want 2019 to be bigger, bolder, and badder than you even thought was possible. Join me so you can learn how you can and will multiply in 2019. Again, that's letsmultiply2019.com, and I'll see you there.
And I start to see multifaceted. Multifaceted stuck out more than anything in terms of definition of a jewel. And I was like, multifaceted, what does that mean? Oh my goodness, I'm only living out one facet of my life. I'm living out my title as a strategist, a brand strategist, but I'm not giving myself the opportunity to fully voice my heart, my mind, my soul, my being, my presence. I'm only living out one vertical. And if I were to die today, I'd be totally unsatisfied with the way that I serve the world with who I am. This is an incomplete story. So I realized that I needed to dedicate more time to the things that mattered to me, and that I had 24 hours, so I was going to have to pick from the 24 and decide how that was going to happen.
Right?
Because we keep saying we don't have enough time. Well, listen, tell me what you're going to do with the 24 you have. Do you need to cut 2 hours off your sleep so you can go volunteer so you feel more full?
Right.
Then do it. Do you need to do that so you can go to the gym, so you can be healthy, so you can go and perform or dance or whatever that other thing is for you? Then do it. But don't tell me the 24 is not enough because God said it was enough. All right, cool. So I got my 24. And I have all this purpose that's bubbling on the inside of me. And I knew that the only way I was going to be a full expression of God's purpose and power in my life was for me to move away from my title, that I so closely, uniquely identified with and step into who Sybil was as a woman. And that opened me up to a world of infinite possibility that was waiting on me. It was waiting, just like I would tell my son to jump off the swing. Baby, swing high and then jump. You know, and I decided it's time for me to do the same thing. It is a choice that I made. No one pushed me out. It was a choice for me to walk away from a six-figure salary and benefits and all this and excitement and thrill to start to vocalize more fully who I am as a woman. And so that decision was in 2015, but the process began in 2013. God kept saying, you're a jewel, you're precious, you're multifaceted. Jewels have more than one side. If you look at a diamond, if you look through, you see all the different facets of a diamond. You can never fully grasp all that sits in the facets of a diamond. That's how rare and precious you are.
And I want to stop with that because it's so funny. When you said a jewel, what came in my mind was a diamond, right? And so then I started thinking, look, this is how simple I am, y'all. I was like, is a diamond a jewel? Is that a gem? It's the same thing. I just Googled it because I was like, let me not sound stupid on my own podcast, keeping it real right. So let me tell you. Right. So what came in my mind when you said I'm a jewel is think about this, you guys. When they find a diamond, it is a lump of coal. And in order for the diamond to shine, it's got to go through a whole burning process for that lump of coal to become a diamond. And I love the story you told, but I want us to get really, I want to drill in deep into this because now you're on this side of it. So it sounds easy and it looks good. It looks marvelous. It looks glamorous. It looks hot, right? But on the other side in 2013 and 2015, when you were having to make the decision to go into that next facet, I know you had to go through fear. I know you had to say, wait a minute, hold on. I'm letting go of this six-figure paycheck. Tell us about that.
My fears that I would fail my children, fears that we wouldn't be able to eat, fears that God was going to stop providing, crazy, really fears. And but you know what? But what started to happen to me, honestly, okay, so the fears that I had before 15 were actually, they were shame. It was more shame. It was embarrassment. It was slight humiliation from the things that I had gone through, right? So you talk about the jewel being found and how it's found and it's in that dirt form, right? So I had gone through sexual assault. I've been suicidal. I had issues with alcohol for years in college, all these things that I'd gone through that I had so-called healed from, but I still carried a stench from the shame. And I said, you know what? Those things won't be as valuable to women because that's my story and people still don't understand rape and people still stigmatize women when they've gone through that.
Right.
So I took that and I assigned that to myself as something that I had to carry, not really giving myself permission to release it.
Ooh, wait, stop right there. Wait, hold on. Because look, she going through some nuggets. So she assigned that to herself and she had to give herself permission to release it. And I don't want to go by that fast because somebody is in that place right now, where no matter what you've been through, like if I use myself for an example, and I have so many of those I could use, but I'm going to use one today, that I'm from South Central LA, and in my neighborhood, I'm light-skinned, African-American. I was never black enough. And as if there was some definition of black somewhere in some dictionary, right? And so because of that, I began to do things and say things. But here's what happens, you guys. And the reason I'm sharing that is when people do things to you or say things to you, that's their choice. You didn't have a choice in that. Yeah. But what happens is when you accept it and you allow it to assign some value to you, it shifts your capacity. And I love that you're being so candid. And I know you've gone through it, but I'm slowing you down because some woman right now is going through that right now. And she hasn't told her story because she's ashamed of it. She doesn't want anybody to know because she thinks someone's going to look down on her. And somebody will look down on you, but understand that person's looking down on you is because she's looking down at her own self.
Absolutely. And you know what, Nicole, at the end of the day, I can't care about the person that's looking down on me. I have to care about the woman whose life is on the line.
Come on.
The woman who's feeling like she's not worth anything. I have to care about her more than I care about the bondage of the people who are too afraid to tell their own story.
Right.
And that's what I recognize. And what's so powerful about our testimony, our story, when I made the choice to say, I'm not just going to tell my story in small groups where I feel safe. I'm going to go out into the deep water, right? Because that's where my faith is proven.
Come on.
So we're going to start this podcast and we're going to start sharing our stories and sharing our breakthrough and sharing our struggles, all of these things publicly. We start getting emails from women around the world.
Wow.
Oh my gosh, you shared this story. It reminded me of what I went through. Oh my goodness, because of this story, because of you sharing this story, I'm able to do X, Y, and Z. So what I realized was that my freedom, my courage was fueling another woman's freedom and courage, right? And that if I stayed in the box of bondage, beyond my time, which was well beyond, these things happened to me 2000, 2001. So my new life was waiting on me to just walk into it, waiting on me. It was outside the door. But if I stayed in there too long, I missed the opportunity that God was placing in front of me to continue to be that multifaceted jewel and to display that light and give some other woman light, give some other woman an idea of value, give her an idea of what her purpose and significance would mean. I would miss those opportunities because I was so caught up in the idea that shame and humiliation were mine to carry. I didn't rape anyone. Why should I feel ashamed?
Right. Right.
What did I do?
Right.
Why would I be embarrassed because someone else made poor decisions?
Right.
Why would I carry that?
Right.
But that's what happens. Good. That's what the enemy wants to come and kill, steal, and destroy. So he wants to take everything of worth and value. And when you're cognizant, I'm not the only strategist. We're all strategists. We each have to strategize and navigate our world. So as strategists, we have to be cognizant of the idea that the thief comes to kill, steal, and destroy. He's always coming for what's in front of you and for what you can't see, what God has prepared millions of miles ahead, years ahead, the relationships, people. And if you don't carry your light bright enough, you miss out on a chance for other people to be drawn into that light. And what happened with the Great Girlfriends, when I decided to walk away from one title, and in fact, it got to the point I was flying east to west, west to east, probably sometimes 3-4 times a month, maybe more. Never had any anxiety. Get on the flight, sleep the full time. I started having panic attacks on flights. I never had panic attacks in my life. I started to have fear that the flights were going to crash, and I started to get hot and have all these nervous and anxiety, anxious moments. And those things were to the point where I would get off a flight. Maybe I had to switch a flight. I'm like, I need to breathe. I can't do this. I started to get tormented by my dreams. The things that look so magnificent, things that I imagined as grandeur before, like, wow, that would be so great to share my light in the world, became, if you don't share your light in the world, your kid's going to find you on a sofa at 75, tormented by the idea that you never stepped out. If you don't do these things, if you don't show my significance in your life to the multitudes, you're gonna die of sickness. You'll be tormented and you'll create sickness and dis-ease in your body. This is what happens. The unfulfillment will start to take place and it'll manifest physically in your body. Your kids won't have the respect and dignity and pride in you that they could if you don't do this. Your marriage will suffer. These are things.
And I just want to stop right here because I love this. You said the dis-ease. And it is disease in your body, because what happens when you're holding on to this big dream, this big goal, this big desire in your heart. And by the way, when I believe that desire in your heart, God put it there. When you have this big thing you really, really want, I believe God put that desire in your heart. So that means you're meant to have it, but you've got to be willing to do whatever it takes. So I love that you said that, because your husband would suffer, your kids would suffer, because what happens when you don't do that thing, you begin to feel depressed. You begin to feel frustrated. You begin to start to resent the fact that you didn't do it 10 years ago or 5 years ago or 1 month ago, whatever that is. And that begins to show up in how you be, in your being, right? So I love that you shared that. So I had to just stop there. So sorry, keep going. This is good.
No, but it is though. It's because, well, you think about it, you're surrendering your light to darkness. So what's going to happen? Everything in your life is going to eventually get dark.
And come on, wait a minute. You are surrendering. Sybil, you dropping so many nuggets, girl. You just keep it moving, right? You are surrendering your light to darkness. And think about what darkness is. Think about what darkness is. So darkness means that it is a room that is void of light. So it's not that the room is dark. Keep in mind, it just means it has no light. I want you to get that. Yeah. Right? Yeah. So if you start to dim your light, you start to dim your greatness, you start to dim what I call your fierce, that means that darkness starts to take over you. That's that depression. That's that frustration. Oh my God, that's so good. So sorry, keep going.
Yeah. It's the emotional eating. It's the loneliness. It's the rejection. It's becoming reclusive. It's feeling inferior to other women. It's becoming competitive. It's insecure about everything because you think someone else has more. It's envy. All these things start to overwhelm you. And we're surrendering to companies and people that we don't even know the names of our CEOs. We've never met them yet. We're so significantly drawn to these titles. And ultimately there's so much light that we're meant to illuminate outside of this. Now, I'm not saying that every woman should drop her title and go pursue. I'm saying if you belong where you are, stay there and shine bright. But if you are only there because it gives you a certain sense of security that you feel your dreams can't provide, then you're in the wrong place, and you need to make the adjustments so that you can live out the fullness of who you are.
Come on and step on some toes, girl. Saying. Right. Step on some toes. And even if you,
because you can be in the best position in a company, and God has planted you there for a reason.
Yes.
The point is to know where you're supposed to be.
Right.
Be certain of that. So when trouble comes, when issues arise, when the money doesn't look right, or when the challenges come and you have to face them, you understand that they are just for a temporary season, because you know where you're supposed to be.
Yep.
And God has given you full grasp of a vision, and you're walking in it.
Right.
And so you're okay with it.
This is so good.
For me, I was being tormented by a title because I was beyond my season.
Right. Because your job wasn't big enough for your gift.
It wasn't big enough.
And some of you, and I love that you said that, some of you guys are meant to be there. But even if you are meant to be in corporate, okay, so some people are not meant to come outside, and I get that. But even if you're meant to be in corporate, there's still more for you. And that more could be that next opportunity. And so often we get complacent. I heard this quote, which I say often because I love it. Stephen Furtick said, fear is not the enemy of faith. Familiarity is. And what happens is we get really, really comfortable. And it's like, but I already know how to do this. But what happens is when you feel that more rumbling in you, that means that there's more inside you that needs to be activated. It's like that diamond. If we go back to the jewels, right? It's like that diamond. If I don't get all the coal off of it, it's not going to shine. And let me tell you something. If my husband brings me a dull diamond, I'm like, baby, how much did you pay for this? And do you have your receipt? Right? So
you need to take that little junky thing back and start over, honey.
You need to make sure it goes through the fire all the way.
Clarity. Come on.
But that's what it's about, right? Right.
Yes,
and it's really getting that light in you to that clarity so that you can live in the full power of it. So understand, as Sybil's talking, I want you to get, she's talking to all of you. And really, it's really that next level of you, not who you already are. We're not talking to you about your bio or your resume. That's done. We're talking about that that next version of you that has yet to be written.
I mean, and you think about it, Nicole, your bio, your resume, those things are only because you understood who you were.
Right.
And even along the way. Now, some of those things some things I was just blessed to be in the room. I was just blessed to be a part of.
Right.
Wasn't fully walking in my purpose, but it was part of my journey.
Yep.
And as I looked back and I started to dive deeper into, Lord, how will I reflect my purpose? And my purpose is clear, to be love and light in this world. That's it. That is it. To the point that when I would go into meetings for strategy, I would have a client say, "You're just so bright." And I'm like, I'm sitting here dropping all of this dope strategy, and all you can say is I'm bright. But what I learned was to receive the compliment of the fact that my light was shining so bright that I finally got it. Once I got it, once I have full conviction and understanding, that's my purpose, I started to feel more confident in the fact that I can just share that brightness. I can illuminate and radiate in my way, which is I'm very lighthearted, energetic, almost kid-like in nature sometimes. I have 2 kids, so I can be super kid-like, but equally as professional, right? But I can have a balance of both. That's my identity. That's how I illuminate light. And that when everybody's frowning, I'm going to smile because I believe. I believe in pure chaos, I believe, because I've seen enough to know that it's just temporary.
Right.
So I'm always looking to be the eternal optimist. That's my role in the room. I know who I'm supposed to be, and I always look to provide solutions that reflect who I am to the room. So for every woman that's listening to this podcast, you need to know who you are in a room and be the solution. Be the solution that you're meant to provide. Bring your best self to the table. Your style. Don't try to be Nicole. Don't try to be Sybil. Don't try to be anyone else in the room. Bring your significance to the room. Everything that you've been through, all the beauty you've gotten for all the ashes and joyful mourning, it's meant so you can show God your way. And it's meant so you can show your intellect and your style, your identity, your personal brand of power your way. But if we start to compare and compete and become envious and want to adjust so that we can fit the norm, we miss the opportunity to show our significance, to show God's significance.
And to be all that diamond, all that jewel. Yes. As you were sharing, the thing that I and I'm shifting reels just for a second, because everything you're saying, Sybil, and we could be on the phone for the next 2 hours. You know that, right? We could be on this and record for the next 2 hours because this is just so good. So I'm shifting just because I know somebody's saying to themselves, that's all great, but I got kids and I don't know how I can do all this. And maybe that woman is a single mom, right? And I hear from a lot of single moms, okay, Nicole, that's great, but you have help. Okay, but understand, so do you, right? And so I want to just talk about that for a minute, Sybil. Now you have recreated your career, right? You have now gotten to all your various levels, right? And now part of that is being a wife and a mom. So in a course of a day, what does that, and mind you, when Sybil says this for her, understand that this is Sybil's life. She just said this is not yours, but I want you to see how she is able to say yes to it all. So share with us, and I love that you just said, you could be kid-like. That's what sparked this question, by the way. How do you shift that in a moment? Like some days I know you can have big power meetings, and then some days you might need to go sit at a game with one of your kids. What does that look like for Sybil?
I mean, I was playing with Legos before we jumped on watching Peter Rabbit, just so we're clear.
Right.
When we hop off, I'm going to gymnastics and swim, and then I'm going to come back, me and my husband, and we'll probably make some dinner real quick, and I'm going to jump back on my laptop. So here's what I learned when I had kids. I learned that my kids were an asset. I learned my kids are not a liability.
Right.
My kids are an asset. They're a gift. They're meant to expand my purpose even more. So I look for all the value that my kids bring to the table. My kids, you can ask one of them now, and they are fully aware of the mission on my life, my husband's life. Like, they understand what the house is about, right?
That's so good.
So there's one vision in this house, and that's for all of us to bring glory to God. I tell you, that's our foundation. In a practical way, how do we do that? We say yes to what we're supposed to say yes to. We're not everywhere. We are where we're supposed to be. Right. And we are very certain about our no's. We're very certain. So I'm not saying yes to everything. I'm yes when I'm led to do something, and I'm absolutely no when I'm not. And that includes my kids.
Yep.
When my kids are outside of the realm of their yes, I'm ready to put them to bed, and they're gonna, and that's the end of the day for them. Now, if they're up and they're up late and I'm on my laptop, they're aware. Well, mommy's working. Are you cool with that? Yeah, I'm cool. I'll be on my iPad. Okay, great, because mommy's gonna be up working. So the other thing, Nicole, is I'm super outcome driven. I don't run my day by the time. I run my day by my outcome.
That's good.
So that allows me to be very clear on what I commit to in a day, because I know I need to factor in my own self-care, which is my sleep, some quality time with me. I need to factor in time to get on emails and phone calls and all the work that's encompassed. I got to pack lunches. My husband and I, one of us might cook dinner, either or. I may have laundry. I have all these other things going on. So that means I might not make that girls' night.
Right. I
might not be able to watch the shows that everybody's up on. I might have to binge 1 month, 3 months from now to catch up on Power.
Right.
That everybody's watching. I'm missing it. Right. I might be late on those things, but I'm fine because I'm working on an outcome that was more important to me. The things that are important to me. The other thing is, again, because I'm outcome oriented, I would love an 8-hour sleep night every night. That would be amazing. It'd be a dream.
Right.
But that is not a reality for me, because if I put too many outcomes on my plate, I have to deliver on my word. It's very important. If I say yes, then I'm going to make sure I deliver to the best of my capacity.
Right.
And then I'm going to go to sleep. Well, that might mean I'm up till 1, 2 in the morning, and I have to turn around to be up to take somebody to school at 6:37.
Right.
But that's the commitment that I made for my life. And it's very important.
So I was going to say, and the beauty is because you're an entrepreneur, when you're up to one or two and you get up and take your kids to school, because you're an entrepreneur, you could decide that next day that I can give myself an hour to take a nap. And I want you guys to get that. So you might have to burn a midnight oil, but when you're an entrepreneur, you have the freedom and flexibility throughout your day to choose, okay, well, today I'm going to work really late, but tomorrow I'm going to give myself, and I'm saying that because I do it all the time, but tomorrow I'm going to give myself a 2-hour break in the middle of the day before, and this was my bonus kids were little, before I have to pick them up, because sometimes you can't take a nap when your kids are at home because they want to know, well, mommy, what you doing now? It's like, don't you see my eyes closed? Right. So,
Right.
So it's beautiful. I love that you said you're outcome oriented, because it really is really looking at how does everything add value to that outcome, and how does it take away from that outcome. That's so good.
That's
Even,
right.
and I want you guys to get this, she's sharing and showing her children. So the thing I love about women entrepreneurs, when you tell your kids, listen, mommy is building a business, mommy's going in her office, mommy's going to take an hour for a call, mommy, and you show them, it shows them what's possible for them.
Absolutely. And my babies sit in on, if I'm on a call, if I'm on an interview, if I'm doing something, my kids sit in.
Mm-hmm.
They can sit and listen. I tell them, as long as you're quiet, or I'll tell someone. So we have a guest today. One of my kids is here. This is their world too. I want them, because I want them to understand, to the point yesterday, I dragged my baby all over the city yesterday. I was going to do some great girlfriend behavior. I was out. One friend's in town. I'm going to see her. Essence Street I was going to support Brandis. Then I told another friend I'd bring ice cream to her house. All these things. And I said, Dylan, come with me. She goes, I don't want to go. I said, Dylan, just come. We're going to have fun, right? So she puts her outfit on. She's ready to go. We have a blast. We're all over the city. We get home at 1 a.m, right? We've been out all day. Me and Dylan just running the streets from Jersey to Manhattan to Brooklyn and back, and had a blast of girl time. That would have been just adult time, but my friends know that my family is a package.
Right.
So my friends are fully aware. You might catch 1 or 2 kids, if or just me. You never know. Right. But I don't isolate the world. My world is fully integrated. So if I have to have adult time, I do. But if I need to integrate my kids, I can. Then last night, as we were riding along, this has brought me so much pleasure. My daughter was talking, and I said, so Dylan, where's your office going to be? We're just talking about her future, whatever. I said, where's your building, your headquarters? She said, it's going to be at home. I said, really? She said, yeah, I'm going to work from home. I said, oh. I said, what makes you think you can work from home? She goes, because you do. And I was like, wow.
No, I love that. I love that.
She's talking about this global company she's going to have. And she's like, but it's going to be based at home. She was like, that way I could pick up my kids. I could do X, Y, and Z. And I was like, it matters to her. She understands. So the blueprints, we're building the blueprints. And we get to customize them the way we see fit for our family. And we get to weave these things together as the way that God wants your family. Now, everyone's story is different. And even, the other piece that I don't want to forget for my single moms out there, because a lot of times, with all the responsibility, I will say I'm blessed to have a husband who is fully immersed. And my kids are at the age where they can make their own waffles and, snacks and all that, right?
Right.
So I'm not, my role has shifted drastically. But I will say for my single moms, there's nothing more significant to me in this mom life, because I live in New Jersey. I don't have any family out here. Everyone has been adopted into my family over the course of time. And this is so significant, not just for single moms, for every woman, every human that's listening, is I'm so blessed to have relationships that are so fertile that I'm able to ask for help when I need it. Right. Even if I need somebody to just borrow my kids for the afternoon.
I love that. Borrow your kids, right?
Right. You want to borrow my kids? For my friends that don't have kids, listen, take those 2. Let them give you a little reminder of why, borrow them. So I can just do what I choose for time. So asking for help.
Yes, that's a big one.
Asking for help. It's so huge. And it's not just for motherhood. It's just for life. Period. Asking for help. But
it takes a village, period. Right.
It takes a village to do anything.
Which is why I love that you started the Great Girlfriends, because literally what you have created is a community that is a village. Yeah. It's a community that women can find the support and love and encouragement. And I just love the work that you guys are doing through the Great Girlfriends. So with that,
thank you so much.
If you could give, as we're closing out, because she got to take a child to gymnastics. So as we're closing out, right, and I want to honor that. I don't want nobody's baby to be mad at me because I kept them from gymnastics, right, or made them late to their class. Right. So as we're ending our conversation, is there anything, as a woman is at the verge of her next level, of her next iteration as a jewel, right? What advice would you give her?
That's so good. First thing is to take care of your mind, body, and spirit. People say it all the time, but self-care has to, it's just maintenance. Like one of the things you even reminded us of, Nicole, is the maintenance. This body does not fuel itself. This body will not preserve itself. We're responsible. And as vessels, we have to be strong enough and have enough focus and clarity when we get up every day to do what we do. So we have to watch what we're eating. We have to watch we have to be nurturing of our bodies. And it's something that we neglect. We just lean on these bodies and we don't take care of them. Right. I advocate heavily, especially now that I'm 40 and the body stopped doing certain things. I was like, oh.
Okay.
I better put that cookie down.
Right.
You know, like I got to be a lot more responsible and more than an active participant in what's happening in my body.
Yeah.
I have to be fully, aware and conscious of the exercise and the energy. That's first.
Mm-hmm.
That is first. Two, I'm uber sensitive, and I think, and I'm cool with it, but I hope that other women will be sensitive and aware of the company that you keep.
Mm-hmm. Yes,
be
girl.
very aware of the people that you allow proximity in your life. Understand why people are in your life. And if you haven't figured it out, ask God, just reveal this person's purpose for me. But being intentional about relationships and the conversations, they should stimulate, they should fertilize your ground.
Yes.
They should, your friends and family should be asking about your purpose.
Mm-hmm.
How's that project going? What do you need?
Yes.
What, how can I assist? Like those conversations, we should be talking about what's happening in each other's lives in a way that will activate our friends and empower. So be conscious of proximity.
Yes.
And be willing to adjust and shift proximity as needed so that you can protect what you're building.
Ooh, that's good.
Be willing to modify proximity a pinch. It could be a season, it could be forever, whatever it is.
Right.
But just know that if you have to make adjustments because you can't go to the movies, you can't do brunch, you might be investing your money differently.
Right.
But be willing to adjust that. And the next thing that I think is so important is to keep your eyes on your finances. And if you need help with planning your finances and understanding, okay, for me, when I was making that adjustment in my career, I knew I got to shave off some of these dinners and some of these, tertiary trips because we are investing our money different because we're preparing to be on an entrepreneurial journey.
Right.
So having said that, you can't ball till you fall. Certain things you have to do
wait a minute. You can't ball till you fall. Come on.
You can't fall till you will fall. But you can't fall till you fall. You will crash and burn and be like, dog, I got to get a job again. Yeah,
Okay.
You got to get a job because you weren't thinking about the fact that this journey is not free. It comes with a cost.
Right.
And so be aware, be willing to sacrifice, plant money to the side, and have accountability in your finances so that you don't have to close your doors because you weren't prepared for whatever that thing is. And the other thing, last thing I would say, it should have been first, but keep your spirit, your heart, and your mind aligned as best as possible. Every day won't be perfect, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna have days where you're just gonna be off, but know how to reset, know how to plug in, get your journal out, get out whatever inspires you. Put some focus on your dreams. Be willing to romance your dreams and journal with them and fertilize. What if this dream came true? What would this dream mean to other people? Why is this dream in my heart? What significance does this dream have to the world? What value? What problems am I solving with this dream? Why can't I stop thinking about this dream? Don't think about the process. Just sit with the vision.
Right.
Sit with the vision, and then God will plant the right people. I promise. As sure as I'm on the phone with you, Nicole, and we have never met in person until this year.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? This is because God planted us in each other's lives so that we could fertilize the vision that he put on our heart.
Yes.
He knew this. We didn't know.
Right.
But he knew. And because we were willing to sit with the vision and romance it and fantasize and just be aroused by the vision, look at what's been birthed.
Right.
And there's so much more that's being birthed. But this is just icing on, even to the point that Kristen moves to Boston, my girlfriend, your girlfriend, those intersections, that ain't by chance.
Right.
Like we have to look at that.
Right. Right.
And so sit with the dream. Don't process it. Don't start saying, how's it going to work? Just say, wow, this dream is a blessing. This is a gift, and romance it.
That's so good. Sybil, you have given us so much. Thank you for number one, for saying yes to your journey. Thank you for being transparent and for saying yes to be the light on the path that others can come behind you. I appreciate you and I honor you for the work you do.
Girl, you as well. I've been blessed since we met. I've been blessed. I promise you. And I'm so excited. And I'm trying to make my way to Boston, FYI, for your event in October. I'm making my way. I'm trying to plan so I can just be there to just absorb it and consume it. But it's so good to look to the left and right and see women who are honest and intentional and pure in their motives. And you just possess that so freely and liberally. So I just, for every podcast listener, you got the right, keep plugging in, because this is the right woman. You're in the right house. You're in the right house. Tell all your girls to subscribe. Go share it 10 times, because she is on a path for something great. And I'm just happy I got to be a part of it.
Okay. Thank you, girl. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Now go take your baby to the gym before we get in trouble.
All right. I'm running to that.
Thank you, girl.
Love you.
Love you too. Bye. Thank you for joining us for this episode of The Fierce Files. Now, I want you to walk away from these episodes with value, so grab your pen and answer either one or all three of these questions. Number 1, what was your greatest takeaway? Number 2, what would you do differently as a result of what you heard? So you may have heard something you've already heard before, or you may have learned something new. Either way, don't take the insight that was shared with you for granted. So commit to doing one thing different because of what you heard. Number 3, what was confirmation for you? What did you hear that confirmed you're on the right path? See, I want you to take a moment and celebrate you. Too often in our journey, we focus on what we're not doing and we forget to celebrate what we are doing. So what was something that showed you that you're headed in the right direction? Now, I want you to share your answers. Share your answer to either number 1, what was your greatest takeaway? Number 2, what would you do different? Or number 3, what was confirmation for you? And share it in our Facebook community. So go to findyourfiercemovement.com and use the hashtag FierceFiles. Now, each experience we encourage, support, and celebrate as a community. It allows us to expand in possibility and wisdom, in encouragement and love. Now, we've invited you into our community to deepen our journey with being the answer someone needs and in being committed to your next level. So until the next time, be extraordinary, be unapologetic, be bodaciously you, go and be fierce.